If your snowblower won't start, it's probably because of the gummed up carburetor. 80% of all the problems related to small carburetor engines are gummed up carburetors because of the long sealing. In order to remove the carburetor from a single stage snowblowers, both upper shroud and lower shroud have to be removed in order to access the carburetor. To remove the upper shroud, remove the gas cap from the tank, the 4 screws on the 4 sides of the upper shroud, and also the chute has to be removed. There are 3 screws that hold the chute around the circumference and 1 screw that holds the ring below the chute. With the chute off, the upper shroud comes off easily. To remove the lower shroud, first remove the choke lever. There's a Phillips screwdriver needed to take the screw off on the bottom of the lever. And remove the electric start button in case it's equipped with. Most of nowadays snowblowers are equipped with electric starters, and electric starter is highly recommended because in the very cold conditions the engine won't start if you don't turn them to a decent speed, cranking speed. There is 1 screw on the bottom of the lower shroud on the right side of the machine. It's got to be taken off. You also have to disconnect the kill switch wires on the inside of the shroud. And the prime valve hose that feeds the carburetor with extra fuel when you attempt a cold start. The fuel tank has to be removed as well. One thing to mention is that the fuel has to be removed, drained from the tank before you attempt to disassemble the snowblower. This is what was not shown in this video. The lower shroud, if you don't want to take the cord off, can be left in the top of the snowblowers while you work on the carburetor. The choke lever is next to be removed, and the prime valve hose on the other side of the carburetor. There are 2 screws, 6mm with a 10mm wrench, have to be taken off in order to take the air box apart. There is an opening on the side of the airbox that faces the engine. This is for the hot air coming from the engine to get inside the airbox and supply the engine with the hotter air. The next thing is to slide the carburetor on the two screws, and before you slide it all the way out, take the governor lever off and the governor spring with the help of a long nose pliers. Now you can slide the carburetor out. With the prices of snowblower carburetors in the range of about $30, it's not worth actually rebuilding the carburetor. The best way is to buy a brand new carburetor and put it on your machine. Might want to look for a set, carburetor and gasket sets, where all the gaskets are included with the new carburetor. In this part of the video, we're going to show how to reassemble the carburetor.
Sorry, I'll turn it down right now.
First, replace the gasket next to the cylinder head, then add the heat shield, the plastic piece that goes between the two gaskets. And then slide the carburetor halfway in. Attach the governor lever to the throttle lever of the carburetor and the governor spring. Then slide the carburetor all the way in. Add a new gasket. This is the outer carbureted gasket between the carburetor and the gearbox. Before getting back to the gearbox, reinstall the hoses to the carburetor. It's much easier to do it now. This is the main fuel hose from the fuel tank, and also the primer bulb hose to the side of the carburetor and the smaller fitting. Choke lever. Make sure it works. Add the airbox with the two 6mm screws. And torque them gently and evenly. Do not over torque these two small nuts. It's because you can damage the airbox, or you can strip the thread on the inside of the cylinder head. Add the choke lever. And now you can reassemble the lower snowblower shroud. Secure the lower shroud with the two C-clips around the frame and the one screw on the right side of the lower shroud. Once you add the upper shroud and the chute, your snowblower with the brand new carburetor installed on it is ready to go. Thank you for watching. If your lawnmower or snowblower won't start, it's because the fuel was left in the machine at the end of the last season. All the manufacturers recommend draining the gasoline before the storage. But even with the fuel drain, there is always some fuel left on the inside of the carburetor. During seasonal storage, this fuel and ethanol will gum up and plug very small jets and passages. CleanCarburetor kit provides the ability to purge all the remaining fuel and ethanol. With all the fuel drained, remove the carburetor central bowl retaining screw and replace it with the CleanCarburetor purge valve. Now, at the end of the season, with all the fuel drained and disposed of properly, connect CleanCarburetor purge can to the purge valve. With the drain plug off, blast the carburetor 3 times for 2 seconds each time. During this first part of the purge cycle, the fuel left on the bottom of the bowl gets purged out of the carburetor, leaving no fuel inside the bowl. Then install the drain plug again and blast the carburetor 3 more times for 2 seconds each time. During the second part of the carburetor purge, the pressurized gas scrubs all the remaining gasoline and ethanol from the inside of the idle and transition system. At the same time, all the remaining fluid from inside of the main jet and emulsion tube get purged. With the internal carburetor parts left like in a new condition, next season you can count on your machine and finish the job the machine was designed for. CleanCarburetor kit will not clean the already gummed up carburetors. The CleanCarburetor kit will prevent the carburetor from getting gummed up. Install CleanCarburetor purge valve on properly operating carburetor and use it to purge all the remaining fuel and ethanol at the end of each season.